Hello, what's up, everybody? And welcome to episode 11 of the Sean Lowery Show. You know what it's about. You saw the title before you clicked on this. So I'm just going to get right into it. So I'm an extreme kind of guy, and that works for me. I work incredibly hard, and I desire to build my business into a huge, successful organization.
Hey, if you're such a hard worker, why are you sitting on your ass doing a podcast that no one's going to listen to?
All right, so many people, they're crippled by the opinions of others. You know, they want to start a business or they want to make a bold move in their life, but they worry too much about what the few other people that know them might think. You know, fear is a natural thing. I get it. And most of the time, it's people close to you. It's people whose opinions that you value, but they don't understand your current mindset. You know, it's usually people holding you back, like your parents or your friends.
You don't have any friends, loser. No one likes you.
All right. So everyone has at least heard the advice. Don't care what other people think. You know, this is very difficult for people to do. I understand. I've seen people who just can't get past this, the opinions of others. I've dealt with it. People I know, they weren't convinced that I had what it takes when I first started, rightfully so. You know, I talk about how my friends called me T-shirt boy, thinking there wasn't a chance I'd make it out of the basement with my business. Oh, you really quit your job for this, man? Wow. I hope that works out for you. But I don't blame them. You know, how the fuck am I, printing T-shirts in my mom's basement, gonna make me the success that I was talking about, the millionaire that I want to become?
You're not a millionaire, dumbass.
Not just yet. So I have a natural confidence, but I've also learned and I've read that, you know, you have to start from somewhere, and I knew at the time that others, they couldn't see my vision. I knew I had to have my own perspective, and I think that people do understand this. This episode isn't about the fact that you have to ignore other people and listen to yourself and block out the haters and the criticism. Everyone knows that. This is a tactic that helped me do this. And I want to share it. And I want to help you to be able to listen to yourself and build yourself up into someone who can make bold moves and do big things in life. That's what this is about. So I've adapted a new theory that is among my favorite things ever. And I want everyone just to feel as free as I do by adapting this. Tear down those mental walls, those voices, internally and externally, that make you question yourself. So here it is, and it's learning to love getting roasted. Roast yourself. Learn to welcome jokes about yourself and make fun of yourself. So the natural human default mode, you know, it's that everyone desires the approval of their peers. They don't like accepting criticism. And again, I think most people know this, but struggle with it. What you should do is don't desire the approval of others and accept criticism. That is what people know and they're working on. All right, so here is how I think you can start thinking. You don't just accept the criticism, you enjoy it. And then you take it to the next level. Don't just enjoy it, actually love getting made fun of. Love getting mocked, love getting ridiculed. You know, doing this, it can make you invincible. Nothing can break through you if you have this attitude.
Ha! Invincible? More like invisible. No one knows who you are. Your podcast sucks.
First of all, let me clarify a major part of this. You know, I believe that this can work and be beneficial for anybody, but I understand that everybody isn't wired the same way or wired the same way that I am. The purpose of this is for people who want to make it big in life, people who want to build businesses or do something bold. You know, being remembered on this planet, you need to have a story. You need to have people talk about you after you die if you want to be remembered. So that's what this is about, for people who want to do big things and they're struggling starting because of other people and what they think and their own problems that they think about and self-doubt. So think about it. If you're listening to this and you're like, why the fuck would I enjoy getting made fun of? Let me explain. All right, so who's famous and has attention that doesn't get shit on all the time at scale? You know, CEOs and politicians, they get it all the time. They get made fun of on SNL with people acting like them. You know, wouldn't it be awesome to have somebody play you on Saturday Night Live? Well, they can't do that unless there's something to mock, unless there's something there. And again, I'm not talking about learning to accept criticism. I'm talking about loving it, having an SNL character. I'm talking about preferring to be made fun of over the alternative. So me starting this podcast, for example, you know, it's obviously increasing my chances of saying something dumb or doing something stupid. And I don't have a professional studio. I'm working on my sound, my shitty voice, things like that. I'm just a dumb rookie, and I'm putting myself out there, and I'm assuming that people want to listen to me, and that's something that most people are crippled by. But if you literally enjoy getting made fun of, you're more likely to do things where people will make fun of you. And guess what happens when you're thinking like this? All that fear is gone. That natural fear that I discussed, as a side effect of loving getting made fun of, it's vanished. So it's a great way to eliminate fear. If someone makes fun of me for having a podcast, I think that's hilarious. So I'm not scared anymore of doing it. I'm putting myself out there. So when you're actively looking for ways to make fun of yourself so you can laugh, think about what you're doing. You're being self-aware. You're learning about yourself. You're scanning yourself from head to toe for your weaknesses, for jokes. And that's so important to be like that in business, to be self-aware. You know, if you know where your weaknesses are, you can either try to fix them or hire around them. If you know where your company's weaknesses are, a lot of people, they have weaknesses and they ignore them and they pretend like they're not there and they don't get handled. So being self-aware is huge in business. And when you're making fun of yourself, then you're examining yourself and you're becoming more self-aware, which is helpful. So again, it's not just accepting criticism, doing crazy things that are bold enough to welcome criticism and then enjoy it. You know, if you make moves and you end up only getting praise, well, that sucks, you know, but I guess you can deal with some compliments and some admiration. You see what I did there? Worst case scenario is what you do is amazing and everyone appreciates you. So I've said my entire life that if I fail, if my business fails, and I go back to my mom's basement and everything I built crumbles, that would be funny. Like, I would want to be made fun of for that. Like, well, way to go, Sean. You really ran that thing into the ground, you know? And that's a funny mindset. And also, this would be an epic part of my next comeback. And that does bring this back to confidence by laughing at yourself. It helps make the problematic issues you face better. You feel better. And you have to stay confident, and you cannot become self-loathing. That's not what this is. This isn't about making fun of yourself and hating yourself. You know, obviously in life you don't want to fail. This works for people who are confident and want to succeed. But a lot of people do fail. And if you do, like I talked about, if I go back to my mom's basement and I can laugh at that, then I'm in a win-win situation. If I win, then I win. If I lose, then I win because I'm still going to be happy. So this approach can help you do that in bad times and good times too. So I do understand that there's a difference between just a funny jab between friends and then a mean-spirited insult. There's a difference between the two. And guess what I do for those? I treat them exactly the same. So it's hard. Now, one thing I will say is if people are making fun of you, it's very acceptable to make fun of them back. I'm not saying just take everything and don't spit it back out. It's fine. I advise to go back at people. But the key is to go back at them and do it in a lighthearted way. That's a big part of this. Always take a lighthearted approach to either being brutally mocked or just jabbed. You know, I've argued with some people in my comments on Instagram, and you know, I'm always say, what's your opinion? And sometimes they'll disagree and they'll unfollow me right after. And I'll never unfollow them. If they unfollow me and they say something bad, I don't unfollow them. I just continue liking their content. And I continue just having them in my feed and everything. And it just makes you a bigger person if you can have this approach. A lighthearted approach, whether it's something mean, something funny, something public. Always have a lighthearted approach once criticism hits you. So yeah, it's funny making fun of others, right? And now I'm not talking about young, vulnerable kids bullying on the school bus and stuff. I'm talking about adults. You know, this advice, it's rated R. R for roasting yourself. But, you know, obviously if someone is suicidal, you don't want to go make fun of them. This is for people who want to make it big in business. So that's what this is advice about. And that brings one of my favorite things ever, Comedy Central roast. They're amazing, man. They make me so happy because everyone up there on stage is laughing at jokes of themselves. And something about that, it just makes me happy to see people getting made fun of and then laughing at that. I think it's a great feeling. That's why I love that. You know, and if mocking others is funny, why wouldn't it be funny if you got mocked? So another part of this is you might just get to laugh more in life. So those are some of the reasons why this works. You know, it helps you eliminate fear. It helps you be more self-aware. You put yourself in situations where you're in a win-win situation. You can't lose. It makes you become a better person, and you get to laugh. And who doesn't love to laugh, you know? You'll have a happier life with this approach. So I had to learn a lot of this shit in college when I had to kind of deal with a crazy situation that involved the entire college and the entire town that got involved. And I actually haven't had the privilege of having any public or media type scrutiny while building my business these past 5 to 7 years. I've had criticism from employees and still friends making fun of me and stuff like that, but it is kind of different when it's a public thing like I was dealing with. But I had this situation in college where I was getting looked at from all angles, and it was this fest that I created on Facebook, and it was called Dubfest. So basically all the other colleges in our area in Philadelphia, they had these really cool like unofficial festivals that were about their school. So I wanted to have one for our school, and I created a Facebook page. And I went to Westchester in Philadelphia, and people call it the Dub C for Westchester. So that's where the dub came from. And right away, thousands and thousands of people, basically everyone in the school, like 10,000 people, 15,000 people joined the Facebook page. And it was the talk of the town. And it was awesome, and I was really excited for it. And the school freaked out. The school did not like this idea for some reason. They came after me, and the news picked up the story. So I had to meet with the vice president of the student affairs, and I actually had a face-to-face meeting with the mayor of the town. They wanted to meet with me. They wanted me to take this page down because they were uneasy about it. They didn't want it to be like a riot or something like that. But I thought it was just going to be like St. Patrick's Day, where it's an unofficial day where everyone's just outside partying, and it could kind of be about school pride, and everyone was on board, and I looked at it positively. But the school wanted me to take the page down, and they were insistent upon it, and I didn't do it. So the easiest thing to do would have been to just take the page down and have no criticism at all. But I didn't do that because I wanted this to be a cool event for our school. So the first thing I had to do was I had to deal with comments to me. A lot of times people are nicer face to face, but some kids were like in the student government were talking to me. They have a different approach than my friends. I had to deal with so many different opinions. And I remember the situation, and I remember at first it was hard, but I remember thinking, I enjoy this. I enjoy being like the center of this story. Then I had to deal with the media and the local bloggers. So I actually did end up doing an interview with NBC, and I talked to them for about 2 or 3 minutes how I thought this was going to be a positive thing for the community and the environment and the school spirit. And they took one 15-second clip out where I said something like, no, this isn't going to be a riot. Everyone's got to act nice. So the media made me look bad. And then there was this local blogger. This guy, he has a local blog. He's involved in the community. He's the kind of guy that goes to town hall meetings, and his name was Joe Norley, and he had a blog called Joe Knows, and he just ripped me an asshole on his blog. And it was actually very engaging. There was thousands of comments on his blog, and a lot of people agreed with me, and a lot of people disagreed with me. And I remember one of the random comments was somebody saying, hey, this kid is hanging in there. He seems like he has what it takes to make it in the business or corporate world.
Hey, party boy, knowing you probably wrote that comment yourself.
Yeah, but I think if people are talking about you publicly, you're just basically lucky if this is the case. Now, the basic phrase, no publicity is bad publicity, but not even that. I just think if you want to be somebody who's going to make it big, people are going to talk about you. Just learn to appreciate that fact and learn to enjoy it. And, I was having a lot of fun during this whole fiasco. So one thing that I think is really hard for people is just the idea of having people talk behind your back. Everyone hates that. Normal people hate that. And everyone, most people, they hate the idea of somebody talking behind their back. Well, I put this right in the conversation as one of those things to learn to love. Love when people are talking behind your back. You can kind of pretty much predict what they're saying. And think of it as a good thing that people are talking about you. Now, this isn't just a mindset thing. This is practical. Think about it. If you're going to run an organization of people, if you're going to have 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 people that you are the leader of them, they're going to talk about you. Some positive, some negative, but, you're powerful. They need to discuss you. So that's talking behind your back too, right? So just learn to love it and don't be mad. Have a lighthearted approach to people talking behind your back. So this festival, Dubfest, ultimately, it wasn't a success. I thought it could be something where there was a statue of me on campus one day because the school and the students, they did something that was memorable. But basically, the town brought in police from the other townships, and there was just no one like went out that day, and the police were all over town because they didn't want this festival to happen. So the school basically won. There was a little energy for the idea the next year. It was supposed to be the Saturday before finals every year when all the students were on campus, but it never really gained legs in real life, just on the internet. And I maybe could have tried harder to make it something, but I was only 20 at the time. But it was a failed festival, honestly. And a lot of my friends, yeah, I got made fun of for. They said, hey, man, you ruined the last Saturday when everyone's at school, the last Saturday before finals. Thanks a lot. You thought you were going to have a statue. Now you have a failed festival. And, it's something I've commonly got made fun of for. But I love these insults because overall it was a funny 3 to 4 months where I made a bold move. And no one remembers it now. It's over. No one cares. So if I could go back, I'd do it again. It was fun. I felt great. Everyone had their opinion, but the situation was on me. And because I enjoyed the mocking, the pressure, the criticism, I look back at it as a positive event. And now I know that I'm somebody who can take the heat that it will take to build a big organization or to make ripples in the business world. And I want this so bad for you, for everyone listening. It's such an amazing feeling to just laugh when people make fun of you and have a lighthearted feeling when people criticize you. Because all those terrible feelings that you have when people are talking behind your back or making fun of you, they're just vanished. And you just don't have bad feelings. You only have good feelings. And it also has all these other benefits that I talked about. So I really want everyone to have this approach that I do. So based on all my thoughts here, I love Comedy Central roasts. I've seen every roast on Comedy Central, at least all the recent ones. So something just about people laughing when they're getting made fun of, it makes me so happy and optimistic. And the roast, the Comedy Central roast, the jokes are so fucking funny, and I love it. But one beef I have is that Comedy Central, they really only roast celebrities. So I pulled this up. Here's a list of the recent roasts they've had. So they've had Hugh Hefner, Bob Saget, Larry the Cable Guy, Pamela Anderson, Donald Trump, Charlie Sheen, Roseanne, James Franco, Justin Bieber, Rob Lowe, Bruce Willis, and then recently Alec Baldwin. So all of these people, they're entertainers, they're Hollywood types. They're actors, singers, comedians. The only people on this list who aren't full-time entertainers, and they're more, I guess, kind of in the business world, are Hugh Hefner and Donald Trump. And think about it. All these people, they're rich, successful, and they love getting made fun of. It's just a great trait to have. One of them even became president. And speaking of president, that's another thing, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I want Trump to do that soon, because it's awesome. It's basically a roast, and the most powerful person in the world, the president of the United States, has a structured thing where people get to make fun of him. So you have to learn to like that, to be in positions of power. So I've pretty much seen all these roasts, and my favorite ones are Justin Bieber, Donald Trump, and James Franco. They just had the funniest jokes and the best people on there. But personally, I want to see a roast of business people. That would be so much better. This needs to happen, the BizRoast. So here's some of the people I'd love to see at the roast. Like Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, the big guys. And then people like Gary Vee or Grant Cardone, Tim Ferriss, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. How funny would that be? Mark Cuban. Maybe you could get some guys in there like Billy McFarland with a Fire Festival. Like a roast with all these people, and then maybe put Jeff Ross there just so there's one host who is used to doing the roast to bring the comedy element. But there's just so much material with stories and the businesses of these people. There's so much material for roast with business people, and a roast would just be so great. Maybe these guys have to deal with their public perception, I guess, since they run public companies. But hey, Elon Musk, he smoked weed with Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan podcast. So who knows? Someone's just got to set it up. Someone's got to have the platform. But a roast of business people would be amazing. That's one of my dreams. I'd love to make it happen sometime. But think about that. The roasts, famous people, successful people, they like getting made fun of. And it's a trait that you should acquire. I really, really want everyone to be happy and successful and be able to have that mindset that it takes to make bold moves and accomplish big things. So many people are crippled by fear to start. And this is a tactic that you can have that will help you not have that fear. I really think about this. And if you learn to love to get roasted, it will help you accomplish these things. And these are skills you can develop. I really believe it. Just think about it. And next time that you get made fun of or criticized, try to enjoy it and laugh when you're the butt of a joke. It's going to take some practice. You know, if you do one bicep curl, you're not going to get jacked. You have to do 50 bicep curls every day for a year, and then you'll get jacked. If you want to get really good at loving getting made fun of and having a lighthearted approach to criticism, you need to practice. So it's not going to happen right away, but just learn that you are the center. Take criticism openly, lightheartedly, make fun of yourself, laugh, and that approach can help you be more successful. So yeah, don't just learn to accept it, learn to love it. You'll eliminate fear, you'll be more self-aware, a better person, you'll get to laugh a lot, and you could be somebody who can take it and somebody who can make it. So go out there, get roasted. You guys, I appreciate you listening. Actually, no, you all suck and I hate you. There you go. There's your first diss to practice liking getting made fun of. So, boom. That's it, and peace out.
Turn it up! Turn it up! Turn it up!